They invited me back to the top floor. The corner office, the skyline view, the kind of view people mistake for a finish line. They said the city needed builders, visionaries bold enough to leave a mark on the clouds. They said my name carried weight now. Funny thing about height, the higher you stand, the easier it is to see the cracks in the foundation below. I stood there in the rain, looking at a city built on ambition, wondering if they wanted my soul or just my signature. The presentation was flawless. A digital ghost of a city glowing in cold, electric blue. They spoke in the language of winners, numbers, timelines, high-stakes returns. Around that table, they leaned in with hunger in their eyes, acting as if the future was already a debt they'd collected. But I've learned that confidence and truth rarely occupy the same room. And ambition? It has a habit of drowning out the quiet warnings. They didn't want my hands to build it. They wanted my name to sell it. Because they knew, even if they didn't trust my eyes, the world still did. I didn't answer right away. Instead, I looked closer. Not at the tower reaching for the clouds, but at the ground it stood on. Foundations are rarely glamorous. No headlines celebrate them. But everything above depends on what lies beneath. And what I saw there was a fracture. Weakness, carefully hidden behind beautiful aesthetics. The kind of flaw that doesn't show its face in the sunlight. It waits. It waits until the weight becomes too much. Until someone asks, who approved the foundation? They thought my silence was hesitation. They thought I was calculating the risk, weighing the profit against the price of my soul. But the truth is, the decision had already been made. Not in that room, not tonight. It was made years earlier, in the quiet moments, in the promises you make to yourself when no one else is watching. Integrity isn't a treasure you find under pressure. It's a fortress you build, brick by brick, long before the storm arrives. They will likely say I walked away from an opportunity. They'll call it caution or pride. Maybe they'll even call it fear. People always demand an explanation when someone refuses the deal everyone else is starving for. But the truth is simpler than they want to believe. A tower built on a broken foundation doesn't need a better architect. It needs honesty. And sometimes the only honest thing left to do is step away before your name becomes a permanent part of the collapse. So I left. Not to make a statement, not to prove a point, and certainly not to teach them a lesson. Lessons only matter when someone is actually willing to learn them. No, I walked away for a much simpler reason. Because the longer you stay in a room that asks you to betray yourself, the easier it becomes to forget who you were before you entered. The rain felt colder outside, but it was honest. And as the city lights began to fade behind me, one thought stayed clear. I didn't walk away to teach them a lesson. I walked away because I had finally learned mine.